van life. We've been at Snetterton today for a track day. It was pretty cool. Well, I say pretty cool. It had all the ingredients for a really nice track day. A few people there I know, not organised, just bumped into, which was really nice. Perfect weather, like, I don't know, 16 degrees, 17 degrees, and not too hot, nice and dry. This fast group, which I'm in, we're the first group out on track, but you have to do 3 sighting laps. There was a guy queuing up to go out for his sighting laps, which is where you follow an instructor as a big group, and there was fluid coming out of his bike. And someone said to him, allegedly I wasn't there, right, so this is like Chinese whispers, all that stuff. So he's going, no, it's fine, it's just overheating. And then, beyond that, someone let him out on circuit with his bike leaking fluid. And I was unaware of all this. I'd say, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 bikes back. But when I got to turn 2, he was sat on the outside of the circuit, still on the track, on the edge, on the outside edge. And he was looking at his back wheel, so he obviously knew he had a problem. And I saw sort of blue smoke coming out of, like, underneath the screen area. So it's like, it's oil. And his decision was, oh, probably be alright, I'll just do a lap. And so the legend has pissed oil all over the track. So, and like brilliantly, he's done it in just like the great spots. So when you're in turn 1's a fast entry, he's laid a load of oil down there. Thanks, mate. So that was the start of the day. And then, there was quite a high number of red flags out there. I got black flagged for noise a couple of times. These all work against you, don't they? And from the last time I rode the 22 bike, it was more stable than my R, with the stock settings. And even when I put the shock from my bike, from my R, the V4R, into the 22 bike, so that's adjustable, so it's a shorter shock, it was still more stable. I was like, okay, that's really cool and really interesting, because the only difference then, essentially, I'd say only, but there's probably 2, would be wheelbase and fork height, but I thought it was fork height. And I also watch a guy called Lorenzo Salvadori, an Italian YouTuber who is rapid, and I'm always looking at his bike and trying to see if there's anything in there that I can gain any bit of information out of. And he, interestingly, is on the 22 V4S in the Italian equivalent, I think, of the Super Stock Championship, Super Stock 1000s, something like that. But he's an official, I think he's a pretty test rider, so he's proper. And he has a little bit of fork showing, so I'm like, do you know what? That's what I need to do. And on my 22 bike, there's 2mm of fork showing. So I stuck it in the V4R, and mate, I had some random wheelies out of nowhere. I had a tank slap down the back straight. It was bad, and it was so bad that I was like, I'm gonna sell my Ducatis. I fucking hate them. I've had enough. I've done my best with them. They're rubbish. And I've always wanted an R1, particularly the 2020 onwards R1. It's got a revised engine. And I'm like, fortunately, second-hand bike market, especially those Ducatis, there's none available, so it's a fairly strong market. I wouldn't get too badly stung on it. But I was like, do you know what? Keep your head down, keep doing what you're doing. And what did I do? I was like, okay, so I've done this change, it's not gone how I want it to. What would be my next change if I wanted to try it? So I had a little look at the shock. I took 1mm out of the shock length, and it's like completely different bike. It was stable on the throttle, it turned well, it broke well. It was just brilliant. And now I'm like, I really like this bike. I should keep my Ducatis. So now we're back in keeping Ducati. It's really nice that I've got a direction to go there, and I'm still hunting around on the setup of the bike every time I'm riding it, just doing a little different change here and there, seeing what it does, see if we can find anything good there. What was very tricky, because I got done for noise, then had to put an extra baffle in, so it killed the bike. I was 20 kilometers an hour slower down the back straight, that's about 12 miles an hour. And once you're there, you know, the bike's a completely different kind of fish. It's like it's not going to respond to throttle on corner exit like it would with no baffle. So it's not really, you know, an apples to apples test, but you know, you still got a reasonable amount of power, and it's promising. The bike was handling nice. It's more so than before, so hopefully we've had some progress. I don't know. Next time we're out on the bike will be race weekend, and we got a test day, so hopefully we'll have good weather. Hopefully there'll be good riders, and you know, hopefully we can start eating into the lap times and getting onto the leaders at the next race weekend. Because I think also what I did, because now I've got the fork settings a bit better, I'm starting to get the confidence in the front of the bike, and that's key to getting into those lap times. And the other big change I made, anyone who's on the sort of Ducati forums or just talk to me in general, know I am very, very impressed with the ABS on that V4. It is a brilliant, brilliant system. Like, pretty 90% sure it saved my bacon twice. But the lever is just a little bit inconsistent, just a little, and that then takes away from your confidence in the brakes. So I did a little playing around and I bypassed the ABS system. It's fairly simple. You just basically plug up the ABS pump bolts basically, and then run the brake lines up direct to the master cylinder. Very basics of it. Fairly straightforward thing to do though, and the brakes were more consistent. So who knows if that's a performance gain there or not, but I did it, and I'm going to leave the ABS off. There you go, and that's how we're progressing on the 22 bike. We're now at the stage where we need to think about buying suspension for it. We've pretty much got everything else. We've got it booked in for the ECU Flash with MSS Performance, so we're going to see them later this week, I think.